try to pretend it had gone away, but it didn't. Hi everybody! Welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I decided to talk about how I overcame my social anxiety, how long it took to overcome it, and what I learned from having social anxiety. So yeah, let's get started. So when I was a child, like, I don't know, elementary school grade, I leaned more towards shy in the first place. So I guess I kind of had a predisposition. And then the social anxiety part manifested when I was in middle school, probably 11 or 12 years old. And it was pretty drastic when it happened. Like I just changed kind of like overnight. I don't know what it was. I still don't know the trigger of what caused it, but essentially, like, I pulled away from all my friends that I had. I just went completely quiet. I didn't talk at all. I couldn't even laugh because for me, laughing is a form of self-expression similar to talking. So yeah, that's how it was like in middle school, high school, and I would say those years were the toughest part of my life, probably. And then I went to college, and college is when, like, I tried to change. Like, I had a fresh start in life. I didn't know anybody, and I was like, I'm gonna be a different person. So what ended up happening was I kind of like faked my identity in a way in order to fit in, but it was kind of like a way for me to survive in a sense. Like, college was probably a pretty happy time for me. Like, I made friends. I was pretty social. Like, I did try to participate in like clubs and all that. But the social anxiety, I try to pretend it had gone away, but it didn't. And it sort of reared its head whenever, like, I had to do a presentation, like, in a humanities type of class where you have to present, like, your opinion or, I don't know, different things, but you have to kind of get personal. And that was when I would have, like, anxiety attacks. My throat would close up. I'd have a hard time talking, kind of like hyperventilate, that kind of thing. And yeah, there was like, I knew I was not being my most authentic self. And I guess I did struggle with a bit of depression. And I think like that was what pushed me to seek help during college. And that is kind of like my backstory on how social anxiety manifested for me. Like there were certain things I could do. Like, I could go to class because I love learning. So, like, learning, going to class was not an issue for me. But I did feel stressed. I don't know, talking to people in general. Though my friends were so chill with me because they were completely okay. Like, if I was super shy, did not talk that much, that type of thing, they still accepted me as I was. So that was great that I found my people. But, there were some things I did have trouble with, like talking on the phone. I would have to write down what I was gonna say on the phone, and then if I was like making appointments and stuff, like that's what I would do, is just read off what I wrote down to kind of compensate, I guess. And then I don't know, just different things. Like, I just never went out a lot. Like, the way it came out maybe was like didn't experience a lot of things. Oh yeah, like I didn't like going into smaller stores was my thing. Like, I could go to Walmart or like bigger stores better because like you don't necessarily have to talk with anyone, but I could not go into a smaller store where there might be a higher chance that you have to talk with an employee or the store person or something. What else? Yeah, I just didn't try a lot of things. Like I'd never gone to a movie theater before. Didn't really go to that many like community events. Those things, like I was not open to those, or crowded places. Yeah, things like that, I guess. It wasn't like a super severe expression of social anxiety, but it did kind of pop up in those ways. So, how did I overcome my social anxiety? So, the first thing I did was I went to counseling. It was the counseling center, like at my college. So, one day I just decided I had to go there. And I don't think I'm technically diagnosed with social anxiety or depression or any of that. I think I saw a psychiatrist or a psychologist at one point, and I did get meds. But yeah, I did go to counseling or therapy sessions every week, or was it twice a week, or something like that. And that was pretty helpful. I'm no longer on the meds now. Like I did that for a couple years, but then I decided to come off of that just because I felt like it was time. But yeah, I remember the first time I went to counseling, like I did not talk at all for like the first two sessions. Like my counselor just talked the entire time. Which yeah, that was nice of her. So yeah, like if you have social anxiety, like it's okay to go. And you know, yeah, like when you have social anxiety, it can be really hard to go to therapy or a counselor. But yeah, I'm really glad I went, just cuz I feel like there was like a dam or something, like a wall blocking me, and like just going kind of crumbled that wall away. And it's not like I thought it was like a huge, I don't know, event in my life, and I was like failing because I wasn't talking the whole entire time. But yeah, my counselor was very cool, and she just talked the entire time, and that was okay. So yeah, it all worked out. So the second way I overcame my social anxiety was through my job after college. I actually went into like a customer service type of job, so I had to work with customers every day. And it definitely was not planned out that much. Like I just applied and I got accepted, and I didn't think about the customer part of the job. But yeah, I just did it, and I learned a lot through that job. Like, it really softened the perfectionist side of myself, and like seeing like how everyday people were. And essentially, I just learned like nobody really knows what they're doing in life, and they're just going along with the flow, and people are just helping each other as much as they can. So yeah, it's okay to not know everything in life, which, back then I thought I had to know everything and be perfect, but it's not the case at all. I don't know where I got that idea from. And I also learned to just normalize mistakes. Like, mistakes are completely normal. No one's judging you. Like, I did not judge anybody, so I just assumed like nobody was judging me when I made a mistake. So I was like, why am I so worried about being judged, or I don't know, people thinking I'm stupid or making a mistake or whatnot? Because I'm like, people actually don't care. So it's all cool. So yeah, that really helped balance out my perspective and life in general. And just, got me used to talking to people and whatnot. And then the third thing I did to overcome my social anxiety was meditation. I think meditation, it helps, but it does it in like a quite a subconscious way for me. Like for me, I had a lot of nightmares growing up. I might make a video about it in the future in case it helps people, because I don't know, I don't hear people talking about this a lot. But I used to have nightmares a lot, like every single day. And after I meditated, those essentially went away and I didn't have them anymore. So I think it really just clears out your subconscious fears and anxieties and makes the inner you kind of more clear, less muddy, I suppose. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. But for me, I just like sit and kind of observe my thoughts and my inner world and just see what comes up. And then eventually, when you do that enough, your mind just eventually quiets down a lot. And that's when you know it's like all cleared out. That was my experience with it, at least. And then the fourth thing I did was I just eventually balanced out my life and started just living life true to myself. And that kind of meant like I eventually got out of the customer service type of job and just I kind of just lived in my self-employed era, I guess, where, things are more quiet. I don't interact with people that much. I still go out, run errands, and do things, go for walks, but it's like on my terms. And that has really balanced out the peace in my life. But yeah, it's just about living a life true to yourself. I think eventually one gets there. So, how did I realize that I overcame my social anxiety? Well, I would say, like, I didn't really know for a long time. There were times where I was like, oh, I'm probably over it. And, I don't know for sure if I truly was or not, but I would say the period of time where I really knew I was over my social anxiety and I had completely overcome it was actually pretty recently when my dad was having all those medical emergencies. I had to make a lot of phone calls, set up appointments, talk with hospital staff or medical staff, or just talk to people in general, because that was just a very busy time of our life. And I realized like how much I had changed. But yeah, I had like almost no fear when it came to doing all those things. So it was like a big moment in my life where I realized like how much I had changed. And if hadn't gotten over my social anxiety, I might not have been ready for that part of my life. So it really felt like a test, kind of. But I did okay, I guess, maybe. How long did it take to overcome my social anxiety? It probably took over 10 years for me to overcome it. I had it when I was 11 to 12 years old, and I probably overcame it when I was in my mid 20s, I would say, and then 30s was when it was really gone. Like, I was completely over it. But yeah, it probably took 13, 14 years, I would say. So it took a long time for me, and it was definitely a gradual process. And it's not like the whole time I was bad off or it was like the worst phase of my life. Like, you have your ups and downs, of course, you have your down days, but you also have periods of time where you have good days too. So it's not like it was all bad. So here are some key things I learned from having social anxiety. So the biggest lesson I learned is when you fear something and you want to overcome it, you have to face the fear. Like, the more you run away from your fear or avoid your fear, the bigger it's gonna get and the more real it becomes in your mind. Because every time you run away from your fear, you're essentially subconsciously telling yourself it's real, it's true, and you need to avoid it or run away in order to like save yourself or avoid pain or misfortune or whatnot, whatever it might be. but that only makes your life worse. And every time you face your fear, you make it smaller gradually over time. Because usually when you face your fear at the right time, of course, through your own judgment, when the situation feels right for you, and you overcome the fear in your mind and you live in the reality of it and face the reality of it, usually what happens is you find that there is a disjunct or a difference between what you thought might happen, what you imagined, versus what really happened. And not every time is going to be rainbows and sunshine. Like sometimes things don't work out. And yeah, I've had anxiety attacks after I tried to face something and it didn't go well. But for the most part, like as long as it's not a super big thing that you have to push yourself past, like there's things I can't not do a presentation at school or something. Like those are things I had to face. But like for little things, like maybe I would go to a store I'd never gone to before by myself, or try to do a drive-through. Like I hadn't done that ever. So that was like a daunting thing for me. Or order food at a restaurant or something. Like every time I push myself to do something past like my fear, I realized like the fear was not all that bad, and it gets smaller and smaller over time until eventually just kind of becomes non-existent, because going to new places, talking to people, maybe meeting new people, which is, you learn that they are all normal things, and you learn to live in a world where it is normal, unless it's not something you have to be scared about anymore. And that just comes eventually with time, but the biggest thing is you have to face the fear in little ways that feel right to you, when you feel called to just give it a try new things and see what happens. So the second thing I learned from having social anxiety is you have to focus on the things that you did do and the progress that you did make. Sometimes it can be easy to focus on things that you didn't do well, ways in which you messed up, things like that. But like life gets better when you focus on the positive, and like little things I did to kind of incorporate this into my life was like I would treat myself whenever I did a good job at like handling something. Or I think like after my job, when I was working in customer service, I would treat myself to a Dunkin'. Eventually, after I learned like I could go through drive-throughs just fine, like I would treat myself to a Dunkin' as a reward for helping customers. Or like another way is you can journal what you've accomplished throughout the day, or things that you are proud of doing that day. And that just helps you, it helps you physically focus. Like you force yourself to focus on the positive because you have to write it down. So it's not like it's in your mind and you have to think about it. Like you gotta write it down. So it kind of makes you more present, and it grounds it into reality. So the third thing I learned from having social anxiety, or just from having any mental illness, is that it's not gonna last forever. Like sometimes when you're at the down points of it, it feels like it's gonna last forever. But like one day, I can say this coming out as like having overcome it and being my future self. But looking back, it's like the old you is like a forgotten memory of you. Like it feels kind of foreign and alien. But I do believe that people who go through these phases of life, like you're meant to grow in huge ways, in ways like you're not even gonna be able to recognize yourself when you do come out on the other end. So, yeah, like it's really hard, but future you is gonna look back and be so grateful that you pulled through. And this leads on to like the fourth thing I learned from having social anxiety is like everything happens for a reason. And like I still don't know like the whole picture of why maybe like I had social anxiety, like maybe I'm supposed to help people through it or I don't really know. But I do know like every person who goes through something tough in life goes through it for a reason. And it's like, you know, coming out of it, you become a whole new person. And that whole new person is probably meant to do big things in the world. And it's, I don't know, I feel like going through tough moments like that, it gives you the courage to not fear as much. Like, I do think people who go through tough situations come out resilient and they're just overall super positive. I don't know what it is, but it's like very little can hurt you anymore because you've gone through like your toughest storm in life and nothing really compares. So there's like nothing in life that can kind of scare you anymore. But yeah, I do think everything that we go through happens for a reason. And the only way we can see what the reason might be is to just keep going in life and just trying our best with each day that comes. But yeah, I think that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your experience if you have social anxiety or what you thought about this video. I would love to know, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.